All right, so our next lesson is on subtracting integers again, right? We talked about subtracting integers using the number line method. Today I'm going to talk about using a t-chart. And what you're going to see is you're going to see actually a couple of previous lessons with the skills of those previous lessons coming into one lesson. All right, so you're going to, every skill I do up here is pretty much going to be review for you. All right, so with that said, grab your book and flip over to page 218 and 219. 218 and 219. All right, here we go. So, subtracting integers using a t-chart. All right, so let's go ahead and start off on the guided practice on page 218. So if you're not there, look over at 218. We're going to look at problem number 3. Problem number 3. All right, and on number 3 we have 12 minus 26. Okay. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to say, step 1, check for double negatives. We're going to eliminate them if they're there, right? We'll put a big plus sign through them, all right? However, there's no subtraction sign and a negative sign next to each other. No double negatives. So we're okay so far on this one. Okay, now step 2 is something you've also seen recently, and that is we're going to circle our integers with the sign in front of them. So for example, 12, there's nothing there, so it means it's positive 12. And 26 has that subtraction sign there. It works the same as a negative integer, so negative 26. Okay, step 3. Go ahead and build your t-chart. All right, remember, t-chart's just a way to organize your work to help you out on these integer problems. And of course, 12 is positive, so I put it on the positive side. 26 is negative, I'm putting it on the negative side. Okay, now, just kind of going back to our integer tiles, right? If we have our integer tiles and we've got 12 positives and we have 26 negatives, once we make our zero pair, what are we going to have left? Positives or negatives? Negatives. Negatives, right? Now, you don't have to remember that on this particular one, but that's why these steps for step 4 is to solve. Okay? We're going to go ahead and I know we've already written this down when we did t-charts using addition of integers using a t-chart. We're going to write them down one more time though. Okay, remember, when you build your t-chart, if they're on the same side, if the integers are on the same side, okay, you're going to add and keep the above sign. Okay, well, are these on the same side? No, they're not on the same side. So because of that, we're going to talk about what if they're on different sides. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to not add, you're going to subtract. And keep the above sign for your answer. So, of course, the one with the smaller absolute value, the one that meaning that the one that looks smaller, or like we were talking about, the one with less integer tiles, if we were dealing with tiles, it comes underneath the other one. And we do our work on that side. So 2 minus 1 is 1, 6 minus 2 is 4. We've just subtracted, we keep the above sign, meaning the above sign above where we just calculated. Don't forget that. And that would make sense, right? Because you had more negatives left over. So that's why we end up on the negative side, and it ends up being negative 14. All right. Questions on that one? We're okay? All right, here's the one I want you guys to try. Go to your homework on page 219, okay? And try out, very similar to that one, try out problem number 4. I'll give you guys 30 seconds. Go. Try it out on your own. You guys can talk in a bit. Okay? Try it out on your own. Okay, anyone need more time? Okay, listen, 30 seconds, okay? I want you guys to go into detail with your neighbor because this is a very important skill this school year. So I need you to make sure that they circled their integers correctly, because I was kind of looking at some of the papers earlier and people are just kind of randomly circling, not worrying about the sign in front or anything. And that's not going to help you out on these. You have to be careful because the whole reason why we circle is to know what kind of value it has. If you circle just a 26, there's a chance that you put the 12 and 26 both on the positive side and you'll end up getting it wrong. Okay? So make sure they circle them correctly, all right? And then make sure that they set up their T-chart correctly as well. Of course, and check the answer. If you want to start with the answer, that's totally fine. Okay? So turn to your neighbor, guys, 30 seconds, and go ahead and share those things. Go. Okay. All right, so here we go. I'm going to show you, when you get the hang of this and you use the steps, how easy it becomes. It might take a little while, but you'll get a lot faster and it'll just become second nature. Okay? So here's what we're going to do with number 4. So what you should add is 31. I'll go ahead and box this out here where we don't get confused. All right, I'm still going to follow the steps. I'm just not going to write the steps. So number 4 was 31 minus 48. When you go to solve, right, there's no double negative, so I'm going to circle my integers. Okay, one's a positive and one's a negative. So when I make my T-chart, the 48's on the negative side, 31's on the positive. Since they're different sides, I'm going to subtract. And I get 1 and 7 with a negative. My answer is, negative 17. A lot faster than up there, right? But that's when you know the rules, you don't have to sit there and think about them for a half hour, okay? I really suggest look at the rules on your notes as you complete this. You do it like for 5 different problems. I bet you by the 6th or 7th problem, you'll probably memorize it once you do it over and over and over again. So you'll get better at it, okay? Okay, questions on number 4? All right, let's try it. Let's go to the next one. All right, let's go back to page 218 on the guided practice side, and let's take a look at problem 2. Problem number 2. I'm going to move it way over here for you guys. Okay, problem 2. We don't have to write the steps because of the exact same steps. We have 14 minus a negative 10. So here we go. Double negatives? Absolutely. There it is right there. Subtraction next to a negative sign. I make it into a big plus sign. Okay? I didn't go through a number, so we're okay. I'm going to circle my integers. I have a 14. Don't forget, so many of us, even though after we make the big plus sign, we still see it as minus negative. So be careful of that. I'm going to circle the 10 with the positive sign. When I build my t-chart, 14 is positive, so is 10. They're on the same side, so I'm going to add them up. 24, it's on the positive side, so it's positive 24. Now someone could make the argument, right, after you get rid of the double negative, it becomes like a second grade problem, 14 plus 10, right? So if you actually turn around and recognize that on those easy ones where they're both positive integers that you're adding, okay, I'm okay with you not using the t-chart. You do have to use the t-chart in all the other problems though. I want you to get practice and use those. The goal is you won't eventually need the t-chart, but right now everyone needs to get practice with the t-chart. Okay. All right, so very similar to the last one, it just had a double negative in it. So any questions on number 2? All right, 30 seconds. Go back to your homework. Try problem number 7. Number 7, go. Remember, eliminate double negatives before circling them. On some papers, I see people circling before elimination of double negatives, and it's going to throw your answer off. Get rid of double negatives first. Okay, how many of you still need more time? Okay, give me about 10 more seconds. Okay, listen, I really appreciate those of you that are trying to be helpful. That's a good leadership skill to have. That's awesome. But when we're doing this, I actually, if someone struggles, I want them to struggle. Why? Because sometimes we don't know what we have a question on until we struggle. Does that make sense? So if you struggle during this time, you guys will be able to share and help each other out during the sharing time. But I only give you like 30 seconds to solve some of these problems. It's okay to struggle for 30 seconds, all right? Just know, do your best, struggle a little bit. When you share, have them help you then. And if they still can't help you, then you'll watch me. And if I still don't make sense, that's when you ask a question, all right? So you have a number of different times to get your answers cleared, okay? It's okay to struggle. Some of us think it's not, but it's all right, okay? All right, here we go. 30 seconds. Go ahead. I haven't had you guys share on this one, right? So go ahead and share now. Go. All right, guys. Here we go. 4 minus negative 19, right? Eliminate double negatives. There it is. Got rid of them. I'm going to go ahead and circle my integers. 4, positive 4, and positive 19. Now listen, some of you guys may, what we just talked about, realize that's like a second or third grade problem. And you solved it that way. That's totally fine. For the sake of the lesson, I'm going to use a t-chart to just go over the t-chart again. 4, positive 19. I go ahead and add them up since they're on the same side. And that is 13, carry the 1. It's a positive. If I put a positive, that's all right. If I don't and just leave it without a sign, that's okay. But bottom line is, the answer is 23. Okay, questions on that one? All right, here we go. There's 2 more different types of problems we're going to go through here. So, we're going to stick with your homework. Let's take a look at problem number 2. Problem number 2. All right, here we go. Problem number 2 is negative 9 minus 5. All right, let's go through our steps. All right, so I'm going to start, eliminate double negative. Oh, look at it, negative and negative. Right, that's not right. Guys, that's what some people try to do because they see both of them are negatives or see 2 negatives in their problem, they'll do that. Remember, if it goes through a number, an integer, that's not correct. All right, so let me try to erase this the best I can. Okay, so here we go. Not a double negative. I circle my integers. I have a -9, and then the -5 becomes value of -5. I'm going to go ahead, build my t-chart. 9 and 5 end up being on the same side. I go ahead and add it up. 9 plus 5 is 14. It's on the negative side, so our answer is -14. All right, questions on that kind of problem? All right, here we go. Very next problem, try it out. Problem number 3, go. All right, quick 30 seconds. Turn to your neighbor and share. Okay. Sounds like people have wrapped it up. Here we go. Check your work. I heard a lot of good answers shared. All right. So make sure you check, see if you have questions. All right. So here we go, gentlemen. We have no double negatives, right? It would go right through the 4. So instead, I'm circling my 2 integers with the signs in front. They're both negative value. Build my t-charts. 4 and 8 are both on the negative side. They're on the same side, so I add them up. I keep that sign. Think about it, right? Just kind of referring back to our integer tiles, okay, our integer counters. We had 4 negatives, another 8 negatives. It'd be a total of 12 negatives. So it'd be very much like that. So our answer is -12. All right, questions on number 3. Okay, one more type of problem. Here we go. Let's go all the way down to problem number 11. This will look familiar. Okay, this was just on the lesson we just talked about, right? Evaluating expressions. So here we go. We're going to write some quick steps. They're going to be the same steps as the last lesson because they're exactly the same. So here we go. Number 11 is -h minus -9 in parentheses. So remember step 1. I'm going to rewrite this whole thing, put in parentheses where the variable is. So, negative, parentheses where the h is, minus -9. Remember, step 2, plug in the number. So the h, according to our direction, says that evaluate each expression if f equals -6, g equals 7, and h equals 9. So I'm going to put 9 in right there. All right. So step 3, I'm going to go ahead and simplify using order of operations. All right. So guys, what I have here is I have just 2 integers basically being subtracted. All right. So here's what we're going to do. It's kind of combining this lesson with the last lesson we had. We're going to do our subtraction, but when we go to solve it, we still have to do the normal stuff like eliminate double negatives. Still, circle the number with the sign in front of it. And I'm using my t-chart. So this is a -9. That's a +9. Now, it's so funny, when we solve this might have been the first time you've had a problem like this. But some people are like, well, which way do we go? They're the same. actually it doesn't matter, because think about it, right? Negative 9, positive 9, 0 pairs, right? They're going to cancel each other out. What's our answer? It's 0. So many people do this. Subtract 0. Mr. Wilkins, negative 0? No. Right? Look at the number line. There's only one type of 0. It's just 0. Okay? So that's, of course, our answer. So don't put negative 0. Okay? All right. Any questions on that? Okay, I'm going to have you try part of your homework. 219, the very next problem, number 12. All right, try it out. 30 seconds. Go. Okay. Anyone need more time? Okay. Give a few more seconds on that. Okay. All right. So 30 seconds. Go ahead and turn and share your work and your answer. Go. Okay, so I heard some discussion. Some people were a little confused, maybe getting it wrong. So I'm going to do this. Please make sure you ask questions if you're still not understanding something. You're going to see me go through the steps one by one. And if you follow the steps, you'll be just fine. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead, parentheses minus parentheses. According to here, F is negative 6, so I'll put a negative 6 in here. G was positive 7. I put a 7 in here. There's only two numbers, right? Two integers that we're going to use an operation for. So I'm going to go ahead, and there's no double negative. I'm going to go ahead and circle. Okay? And since they're both negatives, right? Build my T-chart. 6 negatives, 7 negatives, same side. I add them up, and I end up with a negative 13. Okay?
The F isn't negative.
I don't know. My book says F equals negative 6 up in the directions.
Yes.
The directions. F equals negative 6. Okay, guys. Other questions?
How did 7 become negative?
Because subtracting a 7 is the same thing as adding a negative. We were kind of talking about that. So that's a rule that there is, you know. So yeah, it gives you the same value. So on a number line, if you think about it, right, a negative 7 you go left, minus, you know, subtraction 7 you would go left using a number line. So it's kind of the same idea. Okay, guys, other questions? Those are some good questions. All right, subtracting integers using T-charts. All right.